The following is a presentation of the ForceCenter podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there and welcome to Databank Brawl, the podcast where we learn about Star Wars characters, discuss them, share our little feelings, and then make those characters fight for our amusement and yours, and rarely the characters' amusement. They almost always pay. Anyway, I am your host. My name is Joseph Scrimshaw. With me, as always, are our two main guests here on Databank Brawl, and that is a lot of Ken Napzok and a reasonable amount of whiskey.
Well, you know, I'm going to change things up on you here. Whiskey for you, a reasonable, responsible amount, and I, for reasons I will probably regret later, I'm having Bacardi 151 and Coke.
That is right. You rebel.
Yeah.
You rebel scum. You rum scum.
Do not recommend Bacardi 151. It's rum, and you're thinking, oh, it's rum. Rum's like a casual drink. Oh, that'll come up on you.
Oh, no.
Smack you upside the head. But
I have made one rum mistake in my life, and that was enough. I remember the great rum mistake. And you got a mixer, right? That sounds like Zuvio, but it is not.
It's Constable Zevia.
Constable Zevia, yeah.
Zevia Cola. But anyways, I'm going to be okay, but if like at the 40-minute mark I don't remember the 35th minute, you'll know why.
All right, that's it. We will try to wrap it up right at that 40-minute mark as the old memory goes.
Yeah.
For both of us. So we're going to get right into it. We have a lot of stuff coming up because this is our 99th episode.
Wow.
Our 100th episode, I have something very, very special planned, something weird. But this is the 99th episode, and I wanted to celebrate in its own way because everything about Databank Brawl is just a little off, so why not celebrate on the 99th instead of the 100th? Right. I decided to do one of these battles that we do every once in a while that is a celebration of Databank Brawl, in that it is the weirdest, dumbest, almost most difficult to make fight characters that I could find in the databank. So this one's going to be a challenge.
These are the ones that you don't spring on rookie guests.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
These are ones for experienced people such as ourselves. So your rum's not going to know what's going on. It's not used to being on the podcast. All right. Are you ready for our first pretty much useless combatant?
Absolutely.
Our first combatant is TT-8L/Y7. Yep. Everybody knows this character, of course. Here's what StarWars.com Databank has to say. These gatekeeper droids were eye-stock droids that were installed indoors in entryways to screen visitors. They earned their nickname, Tattletale droids, from their obnoxious demeanor in the pursuit of fulfilling their programming. They were manufactured by Servo Droid Inc. and were in use across the galaxy for years. During the Clone Wars, one was installed in Rishi Station Outpost, and another was used by Guy Nakta, a Trandoshan traitor. Probably the most infamous and annoying TT-83Y7 in use was the one who kept out visitors out of Jabba's palace.
I love that you've chosen this. It's so out there that Wikipedia cannot find it.
Wikipedia can't find it. Wow.
So
I mean, maybe they have it
TT
8 dash 83 yeah, and then
/Y7. Okay. May have forgot. There it goes.
There it goes.
Right.
Okay, but yeah, it's a hard one.
Slash.
I might not have actually enunciated the slash.
No, you're not to blame here.
No,
it's the whiskey. But
when we'll get into more of the details. Of course, I wanted to choose this character because they're installed indoors, so that limits how and where and when they can fight. But this is, and this is also a celebration of our drinks. This is the first databank entry I've found that is. Whoa.
Yeah. No, you're good.
That's riddled with typos.
Love it. So the official databank.
Yes. I read it as they were manufactured, but it is written as they were manufactured with an apostrophe. They were manufactured by Servo Droid. And it says during the Clone Wars, one was installed Rishi Station. There's no inner on. And then in the last sentence, the most infamous and annoying TT-83/Y7 in use was the one who kept out visitors out of Jabba's palace.
I'm so intrigued with this. I'm actually going to the databank on StarWars.com.
It's riddled with typos. It's like it's set up to annoy 3PO.
That's That's hilarious to me.
This one was kept out visitors out of Jabba's palace.
Now, let me ask you this question. When you were, it comes right up here on Databank too. When you were putting this one together, I never really questioned your methods. I'm not questioning it. Like, I don't mean that like a bad thing, but I'm like, you come up with this, and I'm like, great. How are you sitting around going, oh, you know what I like? That droid in the door. How did you come across that one?
I scan the old databank, and I try to think of like, what could be surprising? And I looked under the droids tab. Sometimes I look under the droids or the creatures tab to kind of switch things up a little bit.
Not that I doubted you at all, but there's these typos are here, which just shows me that they were like, whatever, like no one ever even checked.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
It almost feels like it was pulled from somewhere else and just dropped in.
Yeah, have you ever like copy and pasted something? Sometimes I even do that when I'm prepping like ForceCenter episodes and descriptions, and I'll copy and paste the last one, and I've made a mistake, and you don't catch it till like the third time you do it.
Yeah, it seems like this has been like copied and pasted a few times from some very old entry. But it's fascinating to me which ones they do have entries about, which ones they don't, which ones are specific. Like they've got the midwife droid who's fought, and that's just a midwife droid. But this has the real specific letters and numbers. It's got a little bit of a backstory. It was manufactured by Servo Droid, and once again, much longer entry than many famous, huge Star Wars characters.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, does Wikipedia have more about the TT-8-3Y7?
It doesn't have much more than you've just explained.
That's a lot.
I'm trying to see if they carried over the typos, but it doesn't look like they did. But, yep, same stuff there. Locations, like you just said, the Rishi Station, all that kind of stuff like that. So there's nothing new in that. Nothing new. I'm just scanning here just to make sure. Which was considered to be the most infamous and annoying. That's so funny.
What, do they use the exact same phrase?
Which was the crime lord Jabba Deslegic Tiriri, just call him Jabba, had one fitted into the front gate of his palace, which was considered to be the most infamous and annoying examples ever used. So it got basically the same thing, but wow. And other than that, a Servo Droid Inc. Okay. They run a good business.
Yeah, of course. It's got an ink.
Security droid. Kind of access control droid, sensor color, orange, but I wouldn't just describe it as orange. Like 70s sci-fi, 60s sci-fi sparkly orange.
Yeah, like a couch one would have sex on in the 1970s
Yes.
Orange, right? Yeah.
Yes, equipment, speaker.
Yeah, and doesn't it have like the kind of a certain oval eyelids almost? Like got the cool...
Yep, you're right.
Teeth-like with ovals on the eyelid.
The orange sparkly center, a little silver around that almost looks like the Imperial symbol, and then it's got the eyelids. It's like a tennis ball grabber.
Yes, it is. Now, we normally, when they have it, we list the height. Do they have a length?
There's
for how long the stock is?
No length, undetermined.
So that's all we know is eye color orange.
Now,
does it have a quote?
No, there is a quote, but also there is a legends tab.
Ooh, and how deep is that?
Not much more. Not much more, to be honest. There didn't allow Mara Jade an audience at Kappa's palace, and nothing much. One interacted with Qui-Gon Jinn. All right, that's about it. But no, the quote is Tichuta Hatyad. Goodness gracious me. So 3PO's response is there as well.
To shoot the hut. Yeah. All right. That is awesome. How do you feel, if anything?
Well, I feel a lot. This is the joy of Star Wars. And being a young kid when I saw Return of the Jedi, 7 years old when I saw it. And I was terrified of this sequence.
Oh, yeah?
Because... this is the skill of what Lucas did, the success of what Lucas did with these droids. 3PO and R2 are characters, right?
Yeah.
They're robots, but they're real people to me.
Right. You don't want any harm to come to them.
I was raised in an overprotective environment as a kid, and, not allowed to I couldn't wander down the end of the street without letting my mom know where I was or if she probably was watching. So I was very overprotective, which made me a skittish, sometimes overly fearful child. Mm-hmm. So C-3PO walking up to this door, I picked up on his nervousness in the theater. And my first viewings of Jedi as a kid, it was like he was nervous. He didn't want to go in there. I didn't understand the bigger mission or Luke's lucky mission at play. So when he knocks on that
probably
door,
not as an adult, you understand it, right?
Yeah. So when he knocks on that door, clink, 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 and is like, oh, okay, good, we're ready to go. Like I as a kid was like, good, they can get out of here. So when the droid pops open and is like talking to him and laughing at him, I was intimidated. I was right there with 3PO. And when that door opens up, I'm terrified. And I can have some kind of like a weird sense memory to it now if I watch now. Like I remember as a kid just terrified that door was opening because the door's huge. Then, and this is what I've never clarified it, but in my headcanon, the spider droid that pops out was the same as this droid.
Oh, the Bolmar Monk?
Yes. So obviously, I know it's not.
Yeah.
But even kind of to this moment, in my head, I connect the two. Because here I am, 7 years old, terrified. This thing comes out of the door, rapping away, laughs, and then the door opens, and then they walk in, and then that spider droid comes out, or what, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
7, I'm like, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's the thing in the wall, and it's I was so terrified. So
Did
terrified.
you think that was like the spider eye?
Yeah, I thought it was like the
yeah,
eye.
that tracks.
Yeah.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? Yeah, and they're circular. They're the same.
Dealy Doppel kind of eye there, So
Yeah.
I have a lot of feelings of
Okay.
old TT Y7 or
8.3/Y7.
8L.
This is going to be a long episode just saying the damn
We're going to call
name.
him TT.
Old TT. This is a risk of letting the whiskey take hold, but I think there is something powerful about this character, this scene. I think there's something like deep and almost Freudian about a fear of doors. Like if you have any anxiety of interaction, when you ring a doorbell, when you knock on a door, you and I record here at your place all the time.
Yeah.
I knocked on your door. I got let in instead of buzzed in, and I knocked on your door, and I had just this tiniest little bit of tension of like, but I didn't give him enough warning. I knocked on the door. So to take that little kernel of fear of what's behind the door, have I done anything wrong, and personify it by a jutting, rude eye that laughs at you. Like, that's a Freudian nightmare. It touches something deep.
Now that I know that, the next time you knock, I'm going to yell, Tichuta.
Oh, geez.
Well, the flip side is I had a little bit of anxiety because, yes, you normally will call, you buzz in, and I buzz into the apartment complex, and I heard a knock, and I was in my bedroom, and a tree there's winds so bad in Burbank, I thought someone was coming to tell me my car was crushed. That's where my mind went in a second, and I was like, oh, it's Joseph.
Competing neurotic anxiety on either side of the door. Sliding doors of anxiety. Anyway, that is TT-83/Y7, our first combatant. Now, I needed a really great, fearsome foe for TT to fight. And I picked our next combatant, which is Steelpecker.
Yes, good old Steelpecker here.
Pecker, not Packer. Pecker.
Pecker?
No backing down from it. It's Pecker. Here's what StarWars.com Databank has to say about Steelpecker. These tough, ornery Jakku avians are drawn to metal, which they break apart with their iron beaks and then devour. Steelpeckers collect vanadium, osmiridium, and corundum in their gizzards, with the resulting chemical stew helping break down their metallic meals. Jakku's scavengers steer clear of Steelpecker colonies, which can overwhelm intruders with razor-sharp talons and beaks.
Right.
Steelpecker.
And it is, for those keeping score at home, it's one word.
Yep.
One word.
No space.
Steelpecker.
Steelpecker, one long word.
That's one of those ones we're on, when you say it out loud, well, this is a bird. It's like we're gonna have Ray's speeder's gonna go by a bird, and it's gonna be like pecking at the metal. Oh, you know what we should call it? Steelpecker. Yeah, it's great.
Steelpecker, yeah.
And it gets through a lot of rounds, and then all of a sudden, like someone looks at it written down on paper, and they're like, well, we're too far down here.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, yeah. You want a walrus man that? Okay, you're just going to describe exactly what it is. Yeah. I love that it's called Steelpecker, and then I have to read 3 bizarre names for made-up metals and ores that sound really believable, like vanadium, osmiridium, corundum. You can come up with those 3. But you got nothing for the bird but Steelpecker.
And I don't have the databank in front of me. Does it talk about... It's a name for their diets. Here's what it says in Wikipedia. Sometimes I'm so concentrated on the pictures, I don't hear all the words you say. Name for their diet. These birds were useful commodity to scavengers who collected their carcasses and guano. Does it say that in there?
Oh, no, the guano is special to Wikipedia.
Because immediately takes me to my favorite movie of all time, Young Guns 2, where they come onto the bat guano mine. No,
Okay.
guano, bat droppings. So I'm having a lot of reaction to this animal here.
Guano is the actual plot of the novel of Dr. No by Ian Fleming. So that's what I think of when I think of guano, and I had to look it up and go, oh, wow, that's not gold or anything. That's feces.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wikipedia has some information, some intel that's not on the official databank.
Yeah.
So who's guano? What guano? Because they're
There's-
steelpeckers, not guano peckers.
Yeah, no. So basically, what I'm gathering is the scavengers collected the dead steel peckers for their because there was probably something in their
Oh,
systems.
right. They could cut them open.
And then the Steelpecker droppings were probably connected because they had traces of metal in them as well.
course.
And if you're scavenging on Jakku, you need all the metal you can get.
So you follow a steelpecker around from a distance.
From a distance.
Because they're ornery.
So Steelpecker guano might be worth like a quarter portion.
Oh, what a terrible, harsh world. We thought Tatooine is harsh.
Yeah,
And these scavengers are going around picking up metal crap.
Yeah.
Literally metal crap.
Literal Star Wars space metal crap.
So they can get an eighth of a portion at best.
I do not have a lot of stats for you to read, just Homeworld Jakku. But an interesting behind the scenes, talking about how this came about, the concept for the bird. And I think I remember reading this in one of the books, the behind the scenes books. The concept for the bird originated in conversation between directors J.J. Abrams and Steven Spielberg, which led to the idea of a bird eating metal. The idea was that the bird would be poking around the innards of a machine and come out all oily and dirty with filthy rust all over its feathers.
Cool.
So there you go.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
that's at least got a little bit of like imagery of like nature being perverted by machinery.
And I will address right now. I mentioned there was winds earlier.
Yeah.
So that sound you hear occasionally in the background is a tree being cut up across the street, and I think it's perfect for this episode because we've got the tattletale droid versus the steelpecker.
We can imagine, that it is actually like this Flintstone sort of saw that's being made out of a steelpecker.
And so that's what's going to happen on this Databank Brawl, a very special 99th episode.
That's right. Now, can you give a nice physical description of the old steelpecker? Because they're kind of just
regular old birds, kind of like I don't want to say like a buzzard with a little bit of a toucan Sam kind of beak there, except for it's one color and not as inviting and not a logo for cereal. Yeah, but it's got it looks like it's a super space buzzard.
Yeah, its head is real big. Its head is making fun of its body and its size, and in that beak is nothing to mess around with for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I would not want to get into a fight with one.
No, but that is not a choice that TT has. TT gonna fight.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's fight. I didn't really talk about my feelings about the steelpecker, but I love it because it's called Steelpecker. Those are my feelings. So let's get into this fight. Now, we want to figure out, as always, where and when this fight is happening. The when could be anytime. This could be the Old Republic, for God's sake.
It might be our first Databank Brawl at the beginning of Star Wars time.
Wouldn't that be cruel if we listed this episode as Databank Brawl, episode 99, The Old Republic?
Tattletale versus Steelpecker.
It's a eye door and a steelpecker. So the steelpeckers are Jakku native. Now, they could be taken off Jakku by bird collectors, but this could happen on Jakku.
Yeah. I am interested in going to Jakku, which was an early favorite of Databank.
Oh, yeah, it had to be.
Absolutely. We come out of that Force Awakens time period. So, timeline I'm not sold on yet. I like the idea of Jakku. And I like the idea that there's some kind of outpost. Maybe it's not just the Nema outpost, but like Nema the Hutt's old castle.
Yeah.
And a tattletale droid, which is what I'm going to refer to them as because I'm too drinky to remember all the slashes and numbers. The tattletale droid is still functional in what is left of that building.
Okay, yeah, good. Tattletale droid. That's smart. I'll probably still try to say the whole name.
You should.
And this
Someone
make the
should have some
episode
dignity here.
So long. No, you have the wisdom to say tattletale droids. I like this. So Hutts can live for many hundreds of years, right? We know this.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to say that this is 100 years before the Phantom Menace.
Oh, wow.
So not quite Old Republic.
Okay.
But in the heyday of Nema.
Okay.
Nema the Hutt. And
Love it.
Yeah, she's got a great outpost, just amazing outpost. And there's still scavenging on other parts of the planet. I think there's still been some ancient battles. I think there's some relics of the Jedi Mandalorian Wars that people have been just sifting through for a long time.
I like that.
That Steelpeckers have been eating Mandalorian armor and pooping it out. How's that for your traditional armor that you pass on? That is your legacy, being pooped by Steelpeckers. How do you like that, Mandalorians? Not much at all. That'll be another fight where the Mandalorians come to wipe out all the Steelpeckers on Jakku. But so Steelpecker is got separated from the herd, from its flock, and it is hungry.
Yeah.
And it sees this castle that I think is like it's built into the rock.
Ooh,
right?
I like that. Yeah,
So
I like
it's still
that.
very
yeah.
castle-y, but Nema is smart. Nema's a smart Hutt.
Yeah.
She's got her weird cultish followers,
Yeah, right.
and she convinced them, like, okay, let's work together to use the minimal amount of metal to create an awesome rock castle.
Rock castle in the sands, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. But there's a pretty distinct door.
There's a large metal door, and that is, when a Steelpecker sees that,
Yep.
it's like the cartoons where,
Its eyes pop out.
yeah, they see a bird. You know, in the cartoons where, they see a bird and it turns into like a roast turkey? The Steelpecker is opposite. They see the metal and it turns into this just delicious meal on a plate. And I think that Steelpecker thinks to itself, I got to peck that.
Yes, and it just, I don't know how good of flyers Steelpeckers are, but it's just like boom, boom, and then it kind of hop flies. Maybe like 20 minutes later, it reaches the door.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great flyer because their heads are real big.
Real heavy.
And heavy, so
Hard to fly when your poop's full of metal.
you're going to get weighed down, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think the Steelpecker maybe doesn't even know of the TT-83Y7, the TT-83/Y7.
Yes.
Doesn't even know, and goes and does what any good, hungry, desperate Steelpecker would do. It's going to peck that door, right?
Absolutely.
So it goes peck, peck, peck.
That Steelpecker pecks like a Steelpecker would peck.
How much steel could a Steelpecker peck if a Steelpecker could peck steel?
So
a lot.
A lot. And it starts just pecking away at that door. Clink, 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 clink. That kind of rhythmic head bob. Clink, clink,
Yeah.
clink.
And what do you think is happening? They're breaking it down into smaller pieces that can get into their beak, right?
Yeah, breaking it down. So there's a little, it's like, and these birds have patience. They got nowhere to go. So it might take weeks to get through this door, but it doesn't matter.
But it's getting delicious little slivers.
yeah.
Each peck, little slivers are breaking down, and little chunks of that delicious door. Oh, it's
delicious
so
metal,
coated in
little bit-
sand and filth.
Sand and rust and all this kind of stuff. So it's pecking. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, emerges TT-8L-Y7. Ichuta.
Oh, goes right for the Ichuta.
Yeah.
Now, this is... now, where is it in relation to the Steelpecker? Is it right next to it?
To harken back, it was a big sip of Bacardi 151. To harken back to my childhood fears, it pops out right where the Steelpecker is.
It basically punches the Steelpecker right in the gut.
Because I don't think I would have been afraid if TT popped out and 3PO was like 2 yards away.
Yeah, no, it was right up in
Right there.
3PO's grill. Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's kind of like a little boxing fist. It punches the Steelpecker in the gut so hard, in fact, that Steelpecker has to
I like that.
flutter away. And the Steelpecker, it just took in a little bit, and it throws up a little bit.
Throws up some metal.
Yeah, just a little chunk of metal. And it just flicks off of TT-83/Y7's
Right.
eye, face, head.
Disco ball.
Yeah.
So I think Steelpecker's on the ground. Like it's mobile. It's not knocked over.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a cat. It just lands on.
Landed on its talons.
So it's looking up, and the TT droid kind of extends a little bit, looks down, the eyelids open up, and starts speaking in some sort of Huttese, like I'm not great at Huttese, but like, whoa, wonga wonga wonga. And the bird, the Steelpecker, I guess we could establish its voice.
Yeah.
It kind of looks up and it's like, "Bark, bark, bark, bark."
Yeah, I think it's got a pretty standard bird squawk. Maybe some depth to it. Maybe it's like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like quite a chicken, because a chicken goes cha-chock, cha-cha, cha-chock, cha-cha, but it's almost like that.
Yeah, it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
It does the same dance and everything. Anyway, so I think the Steelpecker is hurt, wounded, angry, and hungry. A dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to go all the way back to my driver's ed booklet.
Oh, wow.
That said, here's when you should never have a drink. HALT, which is for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired.
Please tell me you've already used that in a stand-up act, and that's why you remember it so well.
It is on my album Flawfest.
Perfect. Which you can purchase at josephscrimshaw.com.
That is exactly right. But yeah, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I think that the Steelpecker is all of those things, right? So it's not making good judgments at all.
Yes.
And I think it sees portable metal.
Oh,
That
yeah.
If I can saw apart the base of this weird robot arm, I can take this back to my flock and we can dine, like bird kings and queens.
In the Steelpecker community, this droid would be worth 50 portions.
Oh, yeah. If the Steelpecker could peck portions, for sure.
50 portions? Yeah.
All right. So I think that Steelpecker dashes up with surprising speed.
Oh, yeah.
Arms flapping.
Flurry of wings.
Chunk, big beak. Just jumps down on the base of TT-83/Y7.
At the door, yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get it separated from the door.
So the droid is shocked. Like, it's never dealt with this before.
Yeah. And a shock Tatis is fun to hear.
Wonga wonga. So it tries to recoil.
Yeah, it tries to suck itself back into the door.
Like a turtle going back in its shell.
Right.
And gets back, and what it succeeds in doing is slamming itself, its base, its eye, on the pinching the Steelpecker's beak between the eye and the door.
Oh yeah, and the Steelpecker's eye slams into the door, and it messes up its eye, right? Like its eye was open, and it scratched its cornea.
Yes,
it's deadly, deadly stuff. Cornea scratching. Databank Brawl is getting rough when cornea is getting scratched.
I wonder, maybe for our fan base, Tristan Shields, who tracks a lot of this, could you track the eye injuries in Databank Brawl?
The cornea scratches index that we need. But I don't think the Steelpecker gives up, do you?
No.
I think that the Steelpecker, much like that saw was being used outside on the tree.
Yes.
I think he starts going at like hyperspeed with his beak, which is like a sawing technique, because normally they peck because of their name.
Yes.
But they can saw, and like
steel saw.
He's chomping down on it again and again and again, trying to separate it from the door. And I think this is the point at which we get to decide, does TT-83/Y7 have some surprises?
It has on, not its base, but on its eye, on that bulb, it has a little tiny shocker.
Ooh, nice.
Almost like a little taser. Taser you can
like
buy.
Like Rose's.
Yeah.
Like a smaller version of what Rose has.
Yes. So I think it activates it. Now, I think it can move. Like, it's not like it's on a swivel.
Yeah.
But
and it's retracted right now, so it's just the ball in the beak.
Oh, excellent point. It is retracted. So, shocks the Steelpecker.
Okay, so it just emits it from the whole ball.
From the ball.
The whole ball area.
Yeah.
Shock.
Shock.
Okay, and I think this, because it's going basically right into the Steelpecker's face, this is a blow to the Steelpecker, right?
Right.
It goes into its mouth, the electrical energy, into its very guts, which contain even more metal, right?
Oh, yes, I didn't even think.
This is brutal. I think this
It goes into its intestines and activates the metal in there.
That's
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I think, unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Steelpecker waste is being used against it.
I was thinking that maybe there'd be some organ damage, but I think you're right. I think I didn't want this to happen. I think I didn't even know about the metal guano when we started this.
You didn't, to be fair.
I think. God,
just say it.
I think
take a swig and say it.
I think the Steelpecker realizes that in order to save its very life, it must evacuate the metal.
Yes. So, with a explosion worthy of a Farrelly Brothers movie, the Steelpecker retaliates and hide your children, covers the eye of the TT-8L, whatever it is, the tattletale droid. It covers it, so now the droid has no idea where its opponent is.
It coated it in metal guano.
That's a good way to say it.
Okay, it's a necessary
I mean,
way.
of all the episodes we've done, this is the one I want animated to full.
I think I want this scene to be censored. A big censored block comes down, so nobody has to see this. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Metal guano will let you, the listener, decide exactly what that looks like. There will be no more descriptions.
You can picture it yourself.
The metal guano, I think because it's metal, it kind of scratches up some of the workings.
Oh, yeah.
Of the old TT-83/Y7.
Oh, yeah.
And that was some amazing, I think, contortion on the part of the Steelpecker that it was able to really quickly twist itself around.
With purpose.
Yeah, and get that TT on the business end.
With intention. So, I think now TT's, he's cursing up a storm.
Oh, yeah. Shoot a fucking shoot papa and gotcha boofa ha.
Just making up curse words. Just so much stuff. So much dirtiness out of that droid's
I think there's
audio.
a lot of swear words in Huttese. I would say like half the words in Huttese are swear words.
Yeah. And what he does is he extends fully.
Oh.
Yeah. Extends fully. And now we know it's got like a 2-yard radius.
Okay.
It goes far.
Okay, so it can swing?
It can swing. So now it is fully extended and it can swing and swing and swing.
Okay. And does it? I think
it does.
I think it does.
I think as the Steelpeckers flap away, it grabs onto the stalk.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking, I've got my foe by the neck.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to start biting down.
Yeah.
And that's when TT starts
swinging
and spinning.
Nice. Yeah, so I think he swings from side to side. So bam, bam, bam. He's hitting the Steelpecker on this metal door.
Oh,
It sounds like basically somebody's knocking on the door. Bang, 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 bang,
the
bang.
most Hanna-Barbera Databank Brawl fight we've ever had. Just ga-gung, ga-gung,
And I
ga-gung.
think in the Steelpecker's fury, the Steelpecker risks the own safety of its beak, and it cracks down. And in fact, it cracks its beak a little bit. This will take months to heal if it doesn't kill the Steelpecker.
Right.
Cracks its own beak, but successfully severs the TT-83/Y7. And I think like right in the middle, like closer to the base actually, because
Yep.
Well, it was getting swung, so I'd say in the middle. Yeah, we'll
the
go back to the
middle.
middle,
Okay,
like
in the
about a
middle.
yard, because you said 2 yards.
Yes, it's 2 yards.
It gets about a yard. So he snaps it off entirely, holds it in his damaged beak, and begins to fly away. He's flying away from the door, away from the only home that TT has ever known.
It's so sad, more sadder than Bambi. So the Steelpecker's trying to gain altitude, which we've already described as hard enough.
Real hard.
For the metal.
There's no steel in the
laden
sky.
bird,
Anyway, why go high?
Right. There's no evolutionary need to go to the sky unless you're going to try to take down a starfighter. So it's struggling up, down, up, down. It's like up and down, up and down. I don't know if it can maintain or how long it will.
It looks like a duck and duck hunt. It's real up and down. It's not good for it.
Yes.
So I think TT is kind of shocked. I think
Still functioning, right?
still functioning. Oh,
Right.
yeah. But this is a strange place for the TT to be. It has used to being in charge, right? It's got obnoxious demeanor that it uses people's natural door anxiety to prey upon them. They're trained to be purposefully annoying. But now it's been robbed of its door. It's been robbed of the thing that kind of gives it power. And I think for the first time in Star Wars canon, we're hearing what like nervous, anxious Huttese sounds like.
Right.
Instead of confident, angry Huttese.
Yeah.
This is some sad stuff.
It's de-winga-wingy, de-winga-wingy.
De-wingy-wingy, de-wingy-wingy. Yeah, for sure. And I think TT-83/Y7's brain is just flying a mile a minute, which is actually faster than they're literally flying through the air. Right. So it's trying to come up with something. It's used its shock. It's used its natural ability to swing. I think one of its only tricks it has left is to be obnoxious.
Okay, yeah. So it starts insulting the Steelpecker.
I think it has to.
In Huttese.
I think it does.
Yeah. And I can't quite translate it, and I don't want to for our younger listeners. But yeah, it is. It's a Dewabadinga Chuta Bagada Wanga Wanga Mushka Bushka Bushka. To the point where the Steelpecker can't fully understand it, but it's picking up on the energy.
The subtext is there. Yeah. He can feel the shame, and it makes the Steelpecker start questioning its life choices. Like, did I actually get separated from my flock, or did my flock leave me? It successfully gets into Steelpecker's psyche.
Steelpecker's head.
And Steelpecker starts doubting itself, and its head lolls just a little bit, just as they're flying over a crashed Jedi starfighter from back in the day.
Oh, wow, like an old school one.
An old school one. And TT makes a desperate yank and makes contact with a fin of the Jedi starfighter.
Okay.
And basically rams into it and causes the Steelpecker to... Steelpecker's still trying to hold on, so TT hits one side of the fin, and then Steelpecker basically head over tails, flaps down, hits the Jedi starfighter, and they both tumble down into the sand.
Yeah. Rumbling, stumbling, bumbling.
Both far away from their homes.
Cloud of sand up here.
One has no flock, another has no door. Who are they even?
And I think they're now separated a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we have almost an Old West standoff.
Yeah.
We have on the ground the broken shaft and eye of TT-8L-Y7 or TT-83-Y7, whichever version, I don't know. The tattletale droid. And it's facing off against the Steelpecker.
The lonely Steelpecker.
You can almost hear some music playing in the background.
Yeah. I think this is a good point to pause in our combat as we do and decide who deserves to win this combat.
I think, going back on history and perhaps some personal bias, I believe the tattletale droid deserves to lose. Your whole purpose is to tattletale and to not let people... You're a literal gatekeeper. It's like you're a YouTube comment section. All right? It is maybe time for the comeuppance of this droid. And I know maybe he wasn't the one later on that scarred my childhood, but there's that. Now, that's my opinion, though. You may have other childhood memories that inform your decision.
Oh, no. I think this is a great reversal of fortunes in a way, because we have long been fans of the underdog on Databank Brawl. We can't stop ourselves. The second episode was Lor Santeca versus Tasu Leech on Jakku. And we couldn't accept Lor Santeca losing. We had to give it to him, and a tradition was started. But here we have a rare matchup.
Yeah.
One of these combatants packs steel. The other is made of steel. And sometimes you just got to go with the flow of the universe, right?
Yeah.
So I think I think lonely Steelpecker without a flock has got this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm having a vision of how it would end.
Oh, please, share.
I think they're in this standoff, and Tattletale is cursing up a storm there. And there's with a Steelpecker takes a step forward, takes another step forward. He knows, this bird knows this droid, this thing can't move. So he finally leaps like a snake.
Oh, nice.
At the eyeball of the TT unit. Now, he gets his eyelid down and clamps down on the tip of the beak of the Steelpecker. And what begins is a struggle not unlike the one in Saving Private Ryan, where the German officer is putting the knife slowly into our American soldier hero while Upham watches on the stairs can't bring himself to stop. It is this violent moment where the Steelpecker is pushing past the closed eyelid, trying to get to the eye.
Oh, the juicy, juicy metal eye.
The heart of
the most delicious
droid.
part. Yeah. Yeah.
And it pushes and pushes and pushes.
Yeah.
Until I think it finally succeeds.
I think there is a moment. I think it's a great psych-out moment where
I like it.
The TT-83/Y7 is fighting, and then, relief. The Steelpecker has given up. The Steelpecker releases with its beak and brings in its powerful talons. Suddenly, when Tattletale Droid is not ready to see that coming and rips those eyelids off and just chomps down on the eye and just starts crunching.
Eat you, Wonga.
And that is it for the Tattletale. The Tattletale has died. I think the Steelpecker eats most of the eye, saves the rest. I think he scavenges up some sort of like container device. He gets the arm and he brings all of that back, and he searches for his flock, and he finds them and returns with a gift. And the Steelpecker is accepted home.
It's like a great fairy tale. It's a Disney animated movie from the 1950s. It's a happy ending.
It's so beautiful, yeah. And I think there is a little after credit scene. I think after all of that knocking sound on the door, we just cut back for just a flash. We're back at Nima's awesome rock castle, and the door rises up, and standing there is a Twi'lek major domo, wondering who is knocking on the door. It is the ancestor of the Fortunas we know. It is Boozer Fortuna.
Boozer Fortunas.
Boozer Fortuna. And he's just like, huh?
Icho.
And slammed to credits. Databank Brawl, episode 99. The weirdest fight we have ever had. I think that's fair to say.
No, that might be the weirdest one and might be absolutely one of my most favorite fights.
It was a very, very good one. And we got, like I keep saying, we got a big one coming up for Databank Brawl episode 100. Thank you for everyone who has continued to listen to this podcast, to give us feedback, to enjoy us. It's a weird, dumb podcast where we get to learn some of the smaller characters of Star Wars, but mostly just have weird and unfortunate things happen, and I'm glad that you celebrate that with us. If there are characters you want to see fight, let us know. Use the hashtag DatabankBrawl. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me at Ken Napzok across all social media platforms, including Twitch.
That is right, and you can also go find Tony Thaxton, who wrote the great theme music we're using for Databank Brawl these days. He's got a Patreon where he writes even more weird Star Wars music, so check that out. You should also, of course, check out our Patreon. It's at patreon.com/ForceCenter. We've also got a lot of merch. That's at tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. You can also find Databank Brawl episodes on YouTube. Jennifer Landa adds some graphics for us. It's great. I can't wait to see what graphics she adds for this one. I am sorry, Jennifer. Anyway, you can also check out my podcast, Obsessed, and you can check out my live shows, my comedy album, Flawfest, where I make that Halt joke. That's all available on my website at josephscrimshaw.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as at Joseph Scrimshaw. You can like Force Center on Facebook and follow us on Twitter as at Force Center Pod. And until next time, as Luke Skywalker once said, well, no one was really listening to him. I care. That's it for Databank Brawl.